is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
It is a bright, sunshiny day here inside the SWBC podcast studio. Everson Walls looks like the shade of the sun there with his brightness. And Mickey Spagnola here too. This is Mick Shots, and there are football players on a football field. How are we doing this fine Thursday morning?
Thursday
at noon now. It's already turned into afternoon.
Hey, Spag, so you getting phone calls? Why do you get a phone call every day?
People just don't know what I do.
From Nate Newton. Why does he call you every show?
Checking to see if he's going to get me off sides.
You got the ringer on
Good
silent?
to have good friends, too.
You got ringer on silent?
It is. It's vibrating.
Okay.
Mickey, you just had a Mike McCarthy press conference that wrapped up. We have football players arriving on the field for the start of practice. What can you bring us up to speed on as we get you set for Cowboys-Steelers Sunday night football?
Well, one of the things that I noticed on the injury report that Kalen Carson, who had been starting at corner. Ooh, what did you just do? Because I can hear myself now.
Oh, better?
Better.
Okay.
Yeah. Before it was.
I didn't do it.
Well, something happened.
Something did happen.
But I saw you touch something, you know.
That's on me.
I was trying to figure out how I could start hearing people, and it
Otherwise, it's embarrassing.
Carson missed this last game with a shoulder injury, and yesterday for practice he was limited, which was a step in the right direction that he did not practice all last week.
Okay.
So when Mike was asked about Carson and his deal for practice, and he said he needs to make a big step today. Now I don't know if he's bluffing or just doesn't want to come clean. But he said, I can't tell you either way at this point.
What do you think?
So that made me think, limited might have been a reason he was limited, right? And maybe not ready, which means that they're probably going to,
Well, it sounds like frustration from the coach's point of view.
It did a little bit. So we'll see, I guess, what he's able to do today when they practice in pads. So that stuck out to me, the other thing he was talking about, he thought the running game, better last week. He said it was their best day so far, but they're built to stop the run, and they'll attack you even when you go play action. So it's going to be a pretty good matchup because each team has got some injury situations going. Their offensive line is beat up, and their defensive line, if you count Alex Highsmith as a defensive lineman, he's outside linebacker, however they line up, he's going to be out with a groin injury. And their backup, Nick Herbig, has an ankle, and he didn't practice yesterday. So maybe that things will even out with the amount of injuries we're going into this game.
They have T.J. Watt, and Michael Parsons is not supposed to play, right?
Yeah, so both.
Yeah, so maybe it doesn't even out.
What do you mean?
Wait, what's going on?
I see what you're saying.
They have T.J. Watt.
Well, now you can just concentrate. You can just concentrate on Watt.
If we're going to talk about pass rushers,
yeah,
they have an advantage this game.
Yes, they do.
Well, he's got 3 sacks in 4 games. I'll take that if he only gets 1 sack.
You'll take
if he only gets
we'll
if he hits his average
with 1 sack.
Yeah, I'll take.
Because over the course of a season, that would only be like a 14-sack season instead of a 19-sack season.
That's a win for me if he only sacks me
22-sack
once.
season, which he's had before.
Right.
That's right.
And
as long as it's not just that he disrupts all running plays come to his side.
You know what I noticed? I was watching some of the early plays against the Colts. They ran the other way, And they didn't block him in the running game. They let him dive in from the backside.
Right.
He made a couple tackles from behind, but at least they gained 3 or 4 yards. They weren't really running right at him.
I think you probably use all your resources to concentrate on the vicinity. If he's coming from backside, by the time he gets there, like you said, you
should be going right, if you blocked it well on the front side.
Yeah, and that you can use all your resources to concentrate on the hole that needs to be opened.
The other thing that I noticed is the Colts were not stupid. Pass blocking, they put 2 guys over there, and sometimes even turn the guard that way and let the center take care of the defensive tackle. Other times they chipped him. And he was primarily, now they might switch him around. I didn't get to watch enough of it. But he was on Terrence Steele's side. He was on their left. So we'll see if they say, let me see where the soft spot is, right? And go to the other side. But if they do, you just got to motion the tight end over to that side. Or now the other thing I saw them do, and I thought this was interesting, their safety, Deshaun Elliott, Texas, is that right?
Out of Texas and Rockwall Heath High School.
Oh, Rockwall. I didn't realize that. They line up Watt wide. And if there's a gap between him and the defensive tackle, a lot of times Elliott is in that gap.
Yeah.
And he's blitzing a lot of times. So that gives you an idea of, okay, if you think you're going to double team over there, well, who's picking up the safety in the slot?
Well, now let's be real. They will probably attack just like they attack anyone else when it comes to the run. But whatever the Colts did, we can't do what the Colts do when it comes to the running game. We just don't do that. They're much better at running the ball. They had a 1,000-yard rusher last year. I think
Taylor
last year when he made it, because I know he got injured a little bit, but
he did.
He has 1,000-yard seasons under his belt, and so their running style is going to be a whole lot different from ours. We're going to have to attack it a whole different way, simply because we're just not as good at it.
But although they only ran for, I think, 88 yards in that game, they were throwing the ball, so that means you got to protect. And that'll be a big chore for him.
Jonathan Taylor not only had a 1,000-yard season in his career, or had a couple of them, he had an 1,800-yard season. But that's been 3 years ago. Last year, to your point, he had only played 10 games with 7 starts and 741 yards. But Cowboys showed signs of improving their run game on offense in the game against the Giants.
Mike said it was their best day. And no, we could have figured that out.
Yeah, the bar is kind of low. We're happy, though.
Both offensively and defensively, as far as the run game is concerned. It was their best.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we got criticized for playing such good run defense, which is a good thing.
Right?
Yeah, we only gave up, 26 yards?
26 on 24 carries. And as I mentioned yesterday when we closed, it was probably Mazi Smith's best day in the NFL.
Let's talk about old Mazi. He came out of nowhere.
Had 3 tackles. Had 3 tackles the game before. You know what I noticed about him, and even after the game, like on Monday, rarely would he sit at his locker and allow the media to come around and have a group interview. Well, he hung in there, and he did it. And I saw him smile. I couldn't remember the last time I saw him smile, because when he arrived here as a first-round draft choice, big smile, had kind of a big personality. His mom was here with him and said that he was a jokester, and I was like, okay, well, we're gonna say never saw it, right? Never. And she said something like, laughter is the biggest part of life or something, and that wasn't him. But on Monday, I saw him smile, and one of the things after kind of most everybody left, I think there was just 1 or 2 of us there, he started talking about, I want to be able to carry my weight. I don't want to be dead weight. And I was like, all right. And he actually smiled and shook hands with us. And I said, well, maybe he's coming out of his shell.
Well, he's coming out of his shell as a player.
Yeah.
That kind of helps. I would imagine
Helps your personality.
It helps his personality, his confidence right now.
Right.
He had the 3 tackles this past game. I didn't know about the 3 in the previous game. But I do know that after every play, if he wasn't in on the tackle, he was pushing someone into the play.
Right.
His pressure throughout the entire game was consistent and consistently good. I like that. I mean, when you looked up, he was always the guy that was doing the pushing. He was the guy that was
And
getting
that's
the last
what he was
lick in. That's what we wanted
do.
from him the entire
If
time.
we had seen that, this previous however many games it's been in his career, 17 plus the 20 games in his career, we wouldn't be talking about, there wouldn't be any questions about Mazi Smith
No doubt.
as a first-round draft pick.
That we wouldn't be surprised that he knows how to smile.
And he's getting more snaps, obviously, right? Out of necessity.
Yeah.
And
He just looks like, I'm sorry, I never saw that guy last year. How many tackles did he make last year? Did we know what that number is?
I did look
It's
it
got
up.
to be minuscule
like
because,
maybe 15.
come on. I mean, this guy is, I'm just so glad that he's coming out of his shell in that regard. Now, once again, it was just the Giants, but you did what you were supposed to do. When you're supposed to kick someone's ass, you kick their ass.
He had 13 tackles last year.
Wow.
13 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 3 quarterback hurries, 1 sack, in 304 snaps total last year.
And he feels that.
So
He felt it all off season.
these last 2 games, he had, I want to say it was close to 40 some snaps in each game. So that was that was like, okay, we can play this guy a little bit more. I've got it right here. Mazi, 70. Oh, Mazi Smith. 46 snaps and then 26 snaps.
26 against the Giants, 46 against Baltimore.
26 against the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
So
he had 3 tackles.
So that's pretty good
That's not
participation.
bad. That's
right?
not bad. Yeah.
Right?
That's not bad.
So, yeah.
And we talked about it. They have the Giants have a young center, John Michael Schmitz, who played at Minnesota in the Big Ten. He was a second-round draft pick last year, so basically same age as Mazi. And this week he's going up against a rookie center for the Steelers, and Zach Frazier out of West Virginia.
Okay.
And so, I mean, that probably helps young players' confidence too, that you're going up against a guy that's your peer and not a 7-year veteran who knows all the tricks.
Who did he play against in Baltimore? Against Baltimore. What was the center, a veteran? You said he got 3 tackles.
Tyler Linderbaum.
You said he got 3 tackles against him.
Yeah, and Linderbaum is he's from Iowa. He's another Big Ten guy, and so he's a little bit older, a couple of years.
And potentially they lost their starting. Well, they did lose their starting right guard.
Okay.
Daniels. So
Linderbaum was in the first-round pick 2 years ago. So
Well, the fact that he was able to get 3 tackles from him, and I know that Derrick Henry was able to run all over the place, but you got to hold your own.
Yeah.
You have to hold your own. Can't speak for anybody else.
So basically, he's got 3 straight games now where he's gone up against young centers who are, which he
Up and coming.
Yeah, who should be guys that, from an experience standpoint and so forth, they don't have an edge on him.
Right.
And even his play strength don't have an edge on him, So they haven't been around the block like some of the
kind
veteran
of
guys.
facing guys of his own ilk.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
That a lot to do with the building of the confidence.
The other thing probably need to clear up since we were kind of guessing yesterday on Brandin Cooks' situation. So my understanding is that after the game on Friday and Saturday, he took a platelet injection to help his sore knees.
Okay.
One each day.
Okay.
And one of those injections, and it was planned. The Cowboys knew he was doing it, and evidently he's done it before.
Good time to do it. It's a bye week. It's a mini bye weekend.
Right.
Thursday night game. You got more
Mm-hmm.
time before the next game.
The problem was one of those shots or whatever they injected him, the blood, caused the infection.
And I don't understand that.
And so when he got back here, the Cowboys got on top of it right away.
Is there negligence involved here?
Well, that part,
Because it seems
anytime you have something like that and you get an injection and you get an infection, you would think so, right?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I thought you were about to make excuses for him. I'm like, no. This is something that should be.
And it was.
It should be just.
And it was where he's
protocol,
had
just
in
simple
New York.
protocol.
And the reason he had it after the game because he previously in his career had done it there.
That part I get.
Yeah.
No problem with that.
Yeah.
But if we're going to make this happen and we're going to be strategic on how we do it, we're trying to be timely with it with the mini buy or whatever. And then now we have a problem.
Well, they had to solve the problem when he got back here.
Yeah. Now we have a setback, correct?
So not this week. We'll see next week, and then you got the bye. So
that plan failed.
we'll see where it goes. Well, I don't know that the Cowboys endorsed it. He did it. They knew he was going to do it.
It's a plan.
Yeah.
And it failed.
Well,
I'm not blaming anybody.
because of that.
I just know that it failed.
So anyway, Jalen Tolbert, Kevontae Turpin,
Jalen Brooks.
Jalen Brooks, and maybe Flo Noy. This is your life
Well,
or opportunity.
The reality is, if you want to be doomsday about it, this is not the time for that. This is not the game for that. We need this game.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that he was going to be one of the guys that's going to provide us the tools to do that.
Well, got to step up.
Got to step up.
Hey, they got problems with their receivers not named George Pickens anyway. So we'll see how well the Cowboys defense can adapt to that.
And we have a Player of the Month award.
Yes.
The NFC Special Teams Player of the Month, Brandon Aubrey.
Of course.
12 of 13 on field goals, 5 for 5 from 40 to 49 yards, and 6 for 7 from 50-plus yards. You know, they need to add a category, how many he was 60 and beyond.
Which is 2 of 2 or 3 of 3 this year? 2 of 2, right?
Should be 3 of 3, if not for a delay of game penalty.
Yeah, that's right. That would have tied the NFL record.
All-time record, that's right, yep.
Delay a game.
Yeah, timeout. You could have taken a timeout. We don't want to take those timeouts because we want to stay in a rhythm, right? That's right. We don't want to ice our own kickers, but twice now we've had timeouts and decided not to use them. And missed one field goal and then had the other one.
Special teams coach.
They had.
I'm just saying, we don't have time for mistakes this year, guys. We got to get on it, guys. I mean, we need to be.
They had a big issue with the clock management by the officials on what happened.
Okay. So then the verdict is still out, or do we know what's up?
Well, they thought the
Like
25 seconds was going to get reset, because of they ran a guy on the field and it wasn't a substitution.
Right.
They only had 10, and they held up the snap, sat over the center and told them, not yet, not yet, not yet. They were ready to go, and they let that guy run on.
So they don't do it as a rule when the special teams unit comes on the field.
Yeah, that's not a substitution, right? I substituted, you substitute because it's special teams. It's not like, oh, I brought in a different wide receiver so they get to bring in another corner.
Right.
And you hold up the snap. So, yeah, that was their negligence.
Sorry, Coach.
Okay. All right. We continue with more Mickey rants next on Mick Shots.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, Crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry. Even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
Miller Lite is brewed with great taste and only great taste.
The Miller Brewing Company would like to issue a correction. Miller Lite is brewed to be less filling. What are you doing here?
Miller Lite tastes great.
Look, I'm just reading the script. It says less filling.
That's not what my script says.
Well, mine says.
We'd like to apologize for the previous announcers. Miller Lite is in fact less filling and tastes great. Time to shine, legal guy.
Celebrate responsibly. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer. 96 calories and 3.2 grams carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Back to Mick Shots.
The Cowboys take on the Steelers in Pittsburgh on October 6th, so we're hosting a free watch party presented by 7-Eleven. Join us at Miller Lite House at AT&T Stadium to watch the game with Cowboys Nation. Cue Thunderstruck because the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders are performing, and Rowdy will be there too. Watch the game, grab a Slurpee, and cheer loud. Get your free tickets at dallascowboys.com/watch party. Wonder what they're going to be putting in those Slurpees.
When's October 6th?
A hard Slurpee. That's going to be a good one.
That's October 6th?
October 6th, yes.
When is that?
That's this weekend.
Yeah, that would be Sunday night
Sunday
football.
night
It's the
football.
Cowboys and the Steelers.
You're going to the Miller Lighthouse for a Slurpee.
A hard Slurpee.
A hard Slurpee. Very good.
You looking forward to this weekend, Mickey?
I am.
So the last time I guess you went to Pittsburgh was 2016?
Ezekiel Elliott touchdown at the end to win
Dak
it.
Prescott was your quarterback.
That's
and
right.
Zeke Elliott and Zach Martin was on that offensive line.
Oh, man. Frederick was there?
Frederick was there. Man, I went back and watched. I watched the last part of that game last night. And I went, oh, man, look at that offensive line.
Everything was going backwards.
You had Tyron Smith in his prime at left tackle, Ronald Leary in his prime at left guard, Travis Frederick, who would have been in his fourth year in his prime at center. Zach Martin was born in his prime at right guard. And you had Doug Free at right tackle.
Yeah.
Doug Free before Lale Collins, right?
Yep. So, and
they were pushing them back.
And
they were pushing them back
just
the entire game.
And since then, I always thought, oh, that was one of the best games of that season. And of course, the Cowboys went on an 11-game win streak that year.
Did.
That was win number 8 in a row, week 10 of the season. And early on in that game, towards the end of the first quarter, it was a screen pass to Zeke, and he took it 83 yards down the sideline.
Not just the running, but the blocking downfield was amazing.
So then the game comes down to the last 2 minutes of the game. You got to go find it and watch it. It was really – I had forgotten just the intensity and just all the scoring all the scoring that happened in the last 2 minutes of the game. So the Cowboys were the final score was 35-30. Steelers had 4 missed 2-point conversions in that game. So it was a crazy, even though that's a normal score, 35-30, the numbers leading up to that were way off because of missed.
Why they didn't have a kicker?
No, they were just
once you try and miss, and then you try and compensate.
And then it was trying to get a 3-point lead.
Pressure on them by scoring.
Yeah.
So the onus was always on Pittsburgh's offense. We have to keep pace from the first extra point that we missed.
Yeah, I should go ahead and look up the box score, but I don't have time to. So anyway, it comes down to the last 2 minutes of the game. and Cowboys have the ball. And
They were backed up,
Zeke, well, I'm just picking it up at the 2-minute warning. Okay. And Zeke scores a touchdown, a 14-yard run to give the Cowboys a 1-point lead. I can't remember, 2 points. It was a narrow lead, okay. Or maybe it was like a 5-point lead, okay. And the Steelers come back. So they get the ball back with 1:40 left or whatever. And with 42 seconds left, they're facing a third down play. They're coming up to clock it. And that's when Big Ben faked.
That was nice.
Faked it.
Did the Marino.
Threw to Antonio Brown and
perfect pass.
Yeah, and we were snookered, and so the Steelers took the lead, and that was with I want to say it was 42 seconds left. That gave the Steelers a 30-29 lead. So now the Cowboys get it, and they're backed up. Okay. With they maybe had a timeout or two.
That's the part
but
I was remembering.
They did have a couple of timeouts. And so the Cowboys get it. Dak completes a couple of passes, and they're showing shots of Dan Bailey on the sideline. It's okay. All you got to do is get a Dan Bailey field goal, get in field goal range. And, of course, back then we had a kicker who was a Pro Bowl kicker who couldn't kick it 66 yards.
He was consistent, though.
Yeah,
he was very consistent.
It was.
I really liked it.
So they get it down.
He was here yesterday.
They actually had a pass to Cole Beasley that should have been a face mask call against it. It was a blatant face mask. They didn't call it. Okay, that converted, got it 1 first down. Then a pass to Witten. And it was not a blatant face mask, but it was a face mask. And that call, with 15 seconds left, got the Cowboys down to the 32-yard line. And they're basically, okay, we're just in position, get it wherever Dan Bailey wants it on the field. We'll kick the field goal and go home with a 32-30 win.
They thought.
They hand off to Zeke, and there is a hole as wide, and Zeke goes 32 yards up the middle, untouched for the game-winning touchdown with 9 seconds left.
Oh,
Zeke in that game had 209 yards from scrimmage.
Yes, he did.
But guess what? Roethlisberger threw for 408 yards.
Okay.
And got beat.
Great game.
What did Dak have?
319.
Okay.
2 touchdowns. He had 408, 3 touchdowns.
But what a great game that was.
So you've got the combination of Dak and Zeke, and then you've got Roethlisberger and Le'Veon Bell.
Yep,
who was one of the
right.
better running backs in the league at that time.
And they had Antonio Brown was their wide receiver, and so they had some firepower.
Bell had 9 catches for 77 yards.
And that's what he did. And but when you look at Dak and Zeke and where the Cowboys were, that game and the road game at Green Bay are the ones from that rookie season that stood out more than anything for me. And the Green Bay game was a couple of weeks. It was Green Bay was October 16th, a 30-16 win, and then the Pittsburgh game was November 13th, so nearly a month later. Those road wins, and that's when we realized we got something here. You know.
Talked about that rookie combination.
And basically, by the time the Pittsburgh win happened, that Romo was back healthy again. And I believe it was leading up to that when Romo had his press conference.
And what did that say?
Which was, what did he say at his press conference, Mickey? You remember? But basically,
he basically was
handed over the reins.
Over.
Thank you and good night.
Well, this is kind of sad.
Then he started really making some money.
They're a Pittsburgh leading tackler with 9 in that game, Ryan Shazier.
But anyway, what a great game that was, and also shows the importance of a run game and the importance of an offensive line.
Yes, it does.
I'm thinking about, okay, where are the Cowboys now compared to where they were in
2006?
You know, one of the things, though, one of the really interesting things I thought in looking at that footage from that game was Dak Prescott. And you can see, you go back and look at him his rookie year, and look at him and his improvement in far as technique, everything about every aspect of being an NFL quarterback. It is amazing to see. Now, he was playing winning football, okay, but he was basically just managing games. You know, in that season, he had 23 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. He took care of the football, and at some point in his career, he had to get to the point where he could make plays.
There you go.
But you could see his form, everything is different now. And it shows all the work that he has done throughout his career. And think about and shout out to the late Wade Wilson, the quarterback coaches that he's had, and the head coaches who have, like McCarthy, like Jason Garrett, who have brought him along too, and making sure that he does all the little things from a fundamental standpoint to improve as a quarterback, the things that he's done in the offseason to improve.
His ability to control the game at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
he
all
couldn't
that
do that back in
all
2016.
that stuff. And so it's fascinating to go back and look at the 2016 Dak Prescott and understand what a special player the Cowboys have now in 2024. He was special then.
He was special
but now
then. We're talking 300-plus yards.
We're
talking
that game, whatever. But the improvement that he has made, without his work ethic and all that he's put into that, he was not going to be able to sustain that like he has in his career.
Because the Cowboys couldn't sustain a running game.
That's right.
This running game in 2016, that helped him get through that rawness that he had, right?
Because what I remember from that season as much as anything, opening drives of games, the Cowboys had a ridiculous stretch during that winning streak where they would score touchdowns on virtually every opening drive of the game. They get the ball and they go 75, 80 yards for a touchdown.
Was that the year that we went to Seattle? And won? Did we go to Seattle and win that year?
Let me look it up.
You mean in the playoffs?
No, regular season.
Oh.
No, you may be. That was not in 2016.
Okay, never mind.
So that's 8 years later?
2018 lost at Seattle. You may be thinking about, this would have been Romo, though, the Seattle win in 2014, which was a huge road win in week 6 of the season, 30-23.
I don't even think.
But that, and of course, that was a year that
that was before the rookies got there.
So it's 8 years and $60 million later.
Oh,
8 years and how many
per year?
Yeah,
per year.
Right. I was going to say no.
It's
It's
more than that.
like 160 plus 200 and whatever this one is. 234.
It's too much money, y'all. That's too much money.
Anyway, that's my input on that segment. Y'all got anything?
That's good stuff. Good stuff. I loved it.
Go watch it. I mean, it'll bring back some fond memories.
Yeah, watch the entire season.
Yeah,
watch even the Green Bay, even the playoff game.
But as it relates to this and being at that stadium, which by the way, they got a new name for the stadium. It's no longer Heinz Field. It's Acrisure Stadium. So a naming rights deal.
Say it again?
In Pittsburgh. Acrisure Stadium.
Okay, 2 words.
Which happened apparently 2 years ago.
7:20 start, by the way.
Oh, okay. 7:20 start on Sunday night. All right, much more to get to here on Mix Shots in just a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Back to Mick Shots.
Frisco Oktoberfest returns for its 5th annual celebration at the Star in Frisco on Saturday, October 5th from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Enjoy German cuisine, traditional Oktoberfest games, live music, and entertainment all day while sipping on Oktoberfest beer. Join the Star in Frisco for a full day of festive fun. So, what we got? On the 5th, you got beer.
That's Saturday.
On the 6th, you got Slurpees.
Slurpees.
All right, then.
Your weekend is full.
Covering it all.
There you go. We've got football tonight. We've got Thursday night football, and they've done well on these Thursday night games.
They have.
And they've done division matchups this year, and I think that makes a difference. I don't know if that continues throughout the entire season.
Last year was just a disaster.
You got Tampa Bay at Atlanta tonight. Of course, last week it was the Cowboys and
that's
the Giants.
That's going to be a good one. That's going to be a good one.
That's good. And there are some good matchups this weekend. You got your first London game on Sunday morning as well.
8:30?
Yep, that's right. 8:30 Sunday morning. It's the Jets and the Vikings.
Okay.
So they hit a home run with that one too.
So I better not sleep in.
Yeah. So
oh, look at this. Jerry's not going to be happy with that. Jets and Saints high on Devontae Adams trade wish list. When's the Cowboys not been put in any trade that is a potential?
Okay. Think about the Jets and think about the Saints.
I know. They both got connections.
And the Cowboys do too.
Well, hell, he moved to Vegas to be with Carr.
Mm-hmm.
Then they cut Carr.
Mm-hmm.
But
and they live They live like right next door to each other, didn't they?
But now Carr's in New Orleans, which is one of the teams they're suggesting, and his personal wide receiver coach is the wide receiver coach for the Saints. I believe it's Kevin Williams.
Okay. So what's the Jets connection?
Rodgers.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you got...
That's a big connection.
Yeah. Not right now.
Well,
it'll be bigger if he gets there, yeah. But, right now.
The deal with him, so he would cost, if you traded for him like this week, he would cost you $13.5 million the rest of the season. $970,000 a week is what's on his cap. And
we got 21 mil, right?
And next year, that's what everybody says. They got 21. Just absorb it all and don't carry any over next year.
Well, we won't need it the rest of this year.
And next year, his next 2 years, his base salaries are $35 million. So whatever you traded, it might be just for 1 year.
Well, all in.
The other connection on the Jets, Nathaniel Hackett's their offensive coordinator. He was with the Packers.
That's right.
That was the head coach of the Broncos?
The Broncos, yes. That's right.
They had beef.
Yeah.
Paul's son.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he acts like Paul's son. Yeah.
I could tell he's not high on Paul Hackett.
No, not at all.
He had the number one offense in '86.
You realize the connection between Paul Hackett and Mike McCarthy.
What is that?
Going back to the University of Pittsburgh, when Paul Hackett was the head coach at the University of Pittsburgh. In fact, the head coach here, McCarthy, points to Paul Hackett as a guy that had a major influence on him. And basically, McCarthy and I've done a lot of this research because he's going back home to Pittsburgh in preparation for the Mike McCarthy show today, looking back at his trail. And when he went back to Pittsburgh, McCarthy went back to Pittsburgh in 1989 and didn't have a job, going back home, living at home. And his dad apparently told him, you know what, you need to just go knock on a door at the University of Pittsburgh and tell him you want to work there.
Yeah.
And so he summoned up the courage, and he was scared to death, but he went up there and he knocked on the door and said, hey, I want a job. I want to work.
Wow.
And they called him back the next day, and it just so happened that one of their GAs had left, and it was unpaid to start with. He was working the graveyard shift. Yeah, he was a volunteer. And I guess maybe.
So when he knocked on his door and he said, I want to work here, he gave him a volunteer job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He gave him a volunteer job.
He was working, as Bill was saying, the graveyard shift.
Graveyard shift
at the
on
tollway.
the toll booth on the Pennsylvania Turnpike is what he was working. And,
but he was living at home.
Oh, yeah. I know that move.
So anyway, so then and by the way, John Gruden was one of the assistant coaches on that staff, I think, at University of Pittsburgh. There were a number of them. And
I'm sure
so he was there for 4 years.
So
not during that time. You have to go back to Dorsett.
Yeah, I know.
So he was a GA for a couple of years, and then he was on the staff there for a couple of years, and then Hackett got fired at Pitt, and then he went to Kansas City with the Chiefs as an assistant coach, and McCarthy followed him to Kansas City.
93, I believe.
Right.
Well, I'm not going to be
on Marty.
I'm not going to be like somebody on this podcast where you have a certain opinion about somebody from 20 years ago. You gotta grow up, right? Even with me and Jimmy. I mean, I love what I hate what they do to Jimmy, but then I love what he gets. Regardless of what happened with us. Unlike somebody at this podcast table who holds a grudge longer than I think anyone has ever held a grudge in life. So I'm going to be anti-Mickey. All right? I'm going to be anti-Mickey.
Who have I held a grudge against?
Oh, my God. Who don't you hold a grudge against? We'll come back on that one tomorrow. How about that? That's my homework.
We still got a couple more minutes.
Yeah, but I got to get my homework.
Figure out who I
want to get them all down because I
against.
know there's a few.
The blacklist.
Yes, there you go. And most of them are black. Oh, my God.
Players or coaches? Players or coaches?
Way to go, Bill.
I'm just trying to figure that out.
That's how I figured out for you.
So this Pittsburgh release left out one thing about McCarthy. It gives his coaching record overall at the franchise, and then versus an opponent.
Okay.
Mike Tomlin's 2-2 against the Cowboys. And Mike McCarthy's 0-4 against the Steelers.
Against the Steelers.
Except for one significant game they left out.
Only the Super Bowl.
The damn Super Bowl.
That's a good work.
By the way, if you research that too, all of McCarthy's matchups against Tomlin and the Steelers have been in one-score games. And
see there?
No.
You get text.
Nate from Frisco. Paul Hackett and David Schuler are the same guys, twin dummies. Oh, man. See, Nate holds a grudge, too, sometimes. That's cool.
You know what's the best thing about that text? You know what the best thing about that text is? Is that it's not, he doesn't say David Schuler. He says
Schuler.
David Schuler.
Yeah, Schuler. That's right.
Now, he's right on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Now I can't remember what I was talking about.
Nothing, man. You want to talk about nothing.
And the
Super Bowl. Oh, okay. That 0-4 that they cite, okay. How many times did McCarthy start a backup quarterback against the Steelers?
Really?
3 times. And starting, if you go backwards, Garrett Gilbert in 2000 started for the Cowboys against the Steelers.
I forgot about that. That name came up, and I said, who?
Garrett Gilbert in 2000 actually had a 19-9 lead in the fourth quarter.
Oh, my God.
Big Ben brought the Steelers back with 15 fourth-quarter points to win.
Those are some forgettable years, Spags. So, yeah.
2020?
Yes, forgettable years.
Garrett Gilbert.
And then prior to that, It was Matt Flynn and Brett Hundley were two of. So 3 times McCarthy did not have his starting quarterback against the Steelers. And I guess you could say this time maybe the Steelers don't have their starting quarterback because Russell Wilson's not playing and Justin Fields is.
Yeah, I don't know about that. And one more note from Nate in Frisco. He said one broke Mike Sherrod's leg, and the other one tried to dog out Troy. So Nate will never forgive that because that's his quarterback. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right. That's right.
Broke Sherrod's leg. All right, I get you.
Oh, man.
Paul Hackett was going to be the heir apparent to
Tom
Landry.
He just knew it, too.
When
he came in,
did.
he just knew it.
Yeah.
Just remember,
he just knew it.
86, 6-2, tied for first with the Giants, and number 1 offense in the NFL.
And then?
Danny White got hurt.
Yep.
The Giants never lost another game. They played them the next week. And that week, and the Cowboys only won one more game.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
All right, that does it for another edition of Mick Shots.
God, look at this.
Go
Cowboys! Wait! What are we looking at?
They act like they're talking about Jerry landing the helicopter.
This is on ESPN. Jerry Jones landed at Cowboys
look at there,
practice
and they got
facility
it coming
Wednesday
down
in Jerry-copter.
Why is this news?
He does it all the time. You know why? Because it happened when the media was out at practice.
Did he do that on purpose? He landed because
he got accused of that on the radio.
By the way, I actually used music in the intro to MASH. As we showed the
very nice.
I said only Radar O'Reilly would have seen this latest injury occur. Brandin Cooks.
That's pretty good.
And you know what? You can get away with that because no one listening young enough to not know what you were talking about. They're not
watching TV. Is O'Reilly still alive?
I think he is. I looked him up just to make sure last night before I referred to him. Radar.
Now, let's not worry about the game. Let's just talk about the helicopter.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, KJ Henry, he said he turned to one of the teammates and goes, "Is this a normal thing?"
What, with the,
when he saw the
chopper
helicopter coming in.
No, it is
It's like,
not.
welcome to the Cowboys, buddy.
All right, Nate in Frisco is ready to send us packing. So here we go.
He got his
All right,
food on.
so we'll see you again tomorrow on a fabulous Fight Song Football Friday tomorrow.
Go Cowboys.
Waiting on you, man.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!